What's going on, guys, and welcome back to WWE Network and Chill, where every single week I, Graham Jason Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network. And today we're talking the latest edition of WWE Photo Shoot that aired after all this past week on the network, featuring Rusev. Another very good episode overall. Rusev had a lot of laughs on this episode. So the first picture we see is of Rusev and Lana having matching gear on Mixed Match Challenge this past season. And he calls it the worst outfit in the history of professional wrestling. It was like a singlet. He said he wanted a singlet, so we got a singlet, and it was like black and white stripes, or I don't know. It was a weird design. You have to see the picture to really understand what I'm talking about. And he said that he looked like Shamu from SeaWorld, which was funny. And he said, "Hey, it is what it is." And he showed it to Vince backstage before the match, and Vince called it the most obscene but perfect outfit for Rusev to wear for the show, but never wear it again. And he did the Vince, a voice here. He did the Vince voice for his impersonation of Vince. It was amazing. This is such a great way to kick off this episode. After seeing that and after hearing that from Rusev, I knew this would be an awesome addition to Photo Shoot. We see a picture of him in NXT, I think after making his debut, though he didn't actually say that. He said that he based his look after his trainer Rikishi. And honestly, maybe this is just me. I had no idea that Rikishi trained Rusev. I had no clue. That was news to me. And he said that he wanted to stand out, so that's why he had the look that he did in his early NXT days with the long hair and the fucking skirt thing. I know that's offensive to anyone like Umaga and Rikishi who wore that type of thing. I forgot what it's called. The Usos had the same thing a few years ago. But yeah, he had that as part of his gear. And by doing that, he wanted to stand out, and he did. So we see an early photo shoot with him and Lana back in their NXT days. And he said that Lana, right around that time, had probably just debuted as his manager, as his mouthpiece in NXT. And that it was in promo class that they were with Dusty, and Lana was speaking perfect Russian, which she had done for a few years by that point, and perfect English. And Dusty's like, "I love it. I'm pairing you with Rusev, and you guys would be a great pairing," which they have been ever since. And obviously they have that real-life chemistry because they have been, they're a real-life couple. And I think they were already together prior to that point. I thought Rusev would go into more detail about that. I wasn't sure if they started dating after that or started dating before that, because if they started dating during that point, that means they would have met in late 2013, but not, gotten married less than 3 years later in 2016. As far as I know, they've been dating a lot longer than that, but I'm not exactly sure. And he said that Lana at that point was still experimenting with her look back in her NXT days. Whereas with Rusev, he was told by a coach that, hey, if you grow your hair out, you're going to make it to the main roster. I mean, that's not his exact accent. I don't know who he was talking about. He never name dropped them. But, he wasn't wrong, because Rusev, after growing his hair out a bit more, ended up getting called up to the main roster soon after. So that guy wasn't wrong, whoever he may have been. We see a picture of the award ceremony. It was that award ceremony that took place on Raw, when Rusev was named the hero of Russia by the Confederate, or whatever the fuck it was. It was that random segment on Raw in the summer of 2014, I believe, or early 2014, right after he made his main roster debut. He said that he looks bad in a suit, and that he actually had backlash from Bulgaria from that segment, because they didn't understand the concept of WWE. They thought, hey, you're trashing Bulgaria, why are you not proud to be from Bulgaria, blah, blah, blah. Not realizing that it's all kayfabe. It's all fake. It's all a work. So apparently Bulgaria doesn't understand the concept of playing a character on television, which is just hilarious. The next picture we see is of Rusev and Lana standing outside in the streets of Washington, D.C., filming a promo or an outside video or whatever for Raw that same night. Rusev said it was a super hot day in D.C. that night, or that day. Super hot in D.C. that day. They were out there for 3 or 4 hours, just waiting for the right time. Just waiting for the right time to fill the promo, because after being outside for so long, Rusev couldn't even open his eyes to do the promo because of how bright it was too. So Lana just told him to relax his eyes, and as a result of he could not open his eyes, and they filmed the promo with Rusev trying to open his eyes while Lana was talking, and it looked terrible. So they just put shades on him, and they got through it. So you see the outtakes and you see the bloopers of this, the filming for this segment, which was amazing. We see Rusev as the United States champion upon winning the belt from Sheamus in 2014. He said that the experiment with the white tape on his feet was very short-lived because it looked like he was wearing socks. And he said that Sheamus will tell you that he never tapped out because he went on Twitter soon after that, 5 years ago after losing the U.S. title to Rusev, saying that, hey, he never tapped out. He should have never lost the belt. Of course, the next picture we see is of Rusev's WrestleMania entrance. And he said, this is the one. And Rusev still brings up this entrance to this day, as he should have. And he calls it here the greatest entrance in WrestleMania history. Because this is what it's all about. He said it was unbelievable, and it was one of his greatest moments. That entrance at Mania 31 was fucking awesome. And of course, it was right before he lost to John Cena and lost all of his push in the process. And of course, he's going on to become another 2-time, a 3-time United States champion and remain over with the audience. But no thanks to the push they were giving him back in 2015. He fell quite far in, from where he was in early 2015 to where he ended up by late 2015. But that Tank WrestleMania entrance was great, no doubt about it. We see a picture of Rusev working a Russian chain match with John Cena from Extreme Rules 2015. He said that it was his idea. It was basically a strap match, if you haven't seen the match, which was honestly a bit better than expected, from what I remember. It was basically a strap match with, Rusev and Cena tied up with a Russian chain, and you had to hit all 4 turnbuckles in order to win the match. And he said it was a lot of fun. He praised John Cena, said he was one of the best people to ever work with, and he was grateful to have worked with him and his knowledge for the business and all the knowledge that he lent to him during the course of the feud. We see Rusev with bare feet, and he said that he wore no shoes for the longest time, and it was because he modeled himself after Umaga, of all people. And he said that Umaga was a big influence. But that changed one night on SmackDown when he took a bump to the outside of the ring, and he got hurt. He tore the ligaments around his ankle, and that would not have happened if he was wearing boots. So he's been wearing boots ever since, and he goes, life is life. We see a picture of Rusev with Summer Rae from that awful feud in the summer of 2015. He said that people called him Emo Rusev back then. So he couldn't compete at the time because of the injury. So he had to talk and perform in order to kill television time, and Lana got Dolph Ziggler to get back at him. And Rusev said that I did not understand the hate that we were getting at that time because it was some of the best stuff that we've ever done. Which I was like, holy shit, I could not believe that because I hated this feud. Apparently Rusev loved it. But it ended abruptly after him and Lana got engaged. Lana took some pictures, sent it to her friends. One of the friends leaked it to TMZ. And because of that, the angle was abruptly cut short. And that was it. And they had to start all over after that. We see a picture of Rusev and Lana in the ring from a Raw segment back in July of 2016. It was the night that Roman Reigns had shoved Lana's face into a cake. And not purposely. He shoved Rusev, and Rusev backed into Lana, and her face ended up in the cake. It was a pretty dumb angle, but that was to further the feud between Roman Reigns and Rusev and kick off the build to their match at SummerSlam that year for the United States Championship. So they talked about that and how that was the same suit that Rusev got actually married in when they were on the beach. And they had 2 weddings. I think both of them got covered on Total Divas many seasons back. It was the one on the beach, I believe, in the United States. And he said that it was a circus wedding because that's what Lana wanted. And it was a blast. It was a great day. Wasn't nearly as long as the wedding that he would have had over in Bulgaria, which over there it's like a whole fucking day-long ordeal. It was relatively short, but he loved it, and it was a great wedding. We see a picture of the Iron Sheik, and this is something I did not know. So Rusev talks about being stuck in NXT. He didn't know what to do. So he didn't know what to do with this promo specifically. So he watched old Iron Sheik promos, and he used that as his inspiration for his promos during promo class. And they show footage of him cutting these Iron Sheik-like promos in promo class, which was amazing. The coaches loved it, and he ended up meeting up with Iron Sheik in Toronto one week, I think, while he was on the main roster a few years later. And he said that the Iron Sheik paved the way for everybody in the wrestling business. Not just him, but everybody with his awesome heel work back in the 80s. We see a picture of him with The Rock from that Raw segment back in late 2014. One of my favorite Raw segments from 2014 because it was so unexpected. The Rock just showed up in Brooklyn. The crowd went fucking nuts. It was an amazing moment. The interaction was awesome. And he said, even we didn't know what we would be doing beforehand. Because on the list of stuff going on that night, it just said Rusev and Lana in-ring promo. And I guess they had known for a week or two that Rock was going to be there, but Rusev didn't know because I guess they didn't trust him because they thought that he would say something or whatever. But he said it was a great time. It was a great opportunity to learn from one of the best in the business. we see a picture of the League of Nations, and this is so funny. So as soon as he sees the picture, Rusev says, Roman Reigns' punching bag. And he goes, yeah, we had so much potential. I was a former U.S. champion, Barrett a former IC champion, Sheamus a former world champion, Del Rio former world champion, but they got beat by Roman Reigns 4-on-1 the day after they came together. So they debuted on Raw together, like as a faction right after Survivor Series. And then on the subsequent SmackDown, they got beat by Roman Reigns in a 4-on-1 handicap match. Like, how dumb is that? That basically is what the League of Nations is known for, getting their ass handed to them every single week by Roman Reigns. But they did have the opportunity to have a WrestleMania match with the New Day at WrestleMania 32, and that's when the Legends came out afterwards, and they shared the ring with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mick Foley and Shawn Michaels, and he said he was thankful for that opportunity. We see a picture of handsome Rusev, as he was calling himself at that time, when he had the face mask when he broke his nose. He actually got injured by Kofi Kingston during a multi-man tag team match on Raw, when Kofi did like a crossbody off the top rope. Rusev caught him, and Kofi kind of rolled over on Rusev's face, and he knew immediately that it was broken. He knew immediately that he was hurt. So he rolled out to ringside. Lana's there trying to console him, even though she's not. She's only making the situation worse. She actually said that she would throw up because of all the blood that she was seeing. And I mean, obviously, it was his nose that was broken. But Lana goes, listen, I can't take all this blood. And then Rusev, you actually hear the conversation between Rusev and Lana while he's laid out at ringside. And he goes, listen, you're already married to me, so you're just going to have to deal with that. Otherwise, why are you at ringside? Like, why are you here to console me, quote unquote, if all you're going to do is make the situation worse? It was like this 30-second long conversation, and we see full footage of it from ringside, from when it happened. It was just simply amazing, to say the least. And they also told the story about how he heard when he got to the back that Vince was saying during the course of the match, because Rusev wasn't done in the match by that point. He got back in the match. Despite breaking his nose and blood's everywhere, Rusev gets back in the match to take a spot or take a bump or something from Big E. And when he does, you see like this little white thing in Rusev's nose, and it was like a tissue because his nose was bleeding. So I guess Vince in the back was like, what the hell is that in his nose? Oh, it was just amazing. We see a picture of Rusev holding up the Rusev Day shirt, which made its debut shortly, I think after Christmas in 2017. So he talks about the origins of Rusev Day, which came after the quick loss to Randy Orton at SummerSlam 2017. He literally lost to Orton in a matter of like 7 seconds at SummerSlam 2017. I was so fucking pissed. He won a SmackDown rematch in record time. He beat Orton in like a few seconds too after an interference from Aiden English, I believe it was. So they had a celebration the following week. And Aiden English actually learned the Bulgarian national anthem in 2 days to prepare for the segment. It was supposed to be a one-time deal, but they ran to the whole Rusev Day thing because that was when they pronounced, it's Rusev Day, September 26th, blah, blah, blah. But they ran with it. They had fun with it. And every day became Rusev Day. And he said he was told that he had a new shirt out. So he wanted to reveal it in a major way. So he revealed it during a segment on SmackDown during like the 12 days of Rusev Day. And on the whatever day of Rusev Day, my blah, blah, blah gave to me. And then Rusev pulls out the shirt, and it's a Happy Rusev Day shirt, and the crowd went nuts. He said that Aiden English was a vital part of that act, and that it wouldn't be what it was without him. And their dynamic was something that nobody expected, and they were put together as a joke, but they ended up making it work and became one of the most entertaining acts on SmackDown during that point in time. And for the life of me, I still don't understand, all these months later, why they were broken up. I know Aiden English is on SmackDown now, doing commentary for 205 Live, and that's fine, he's good at it. He's not amazing, but he's not terrible either. He's good. But why break up him and Rusev if they weren't going to do anything with either one of them coming out of it? Because Rusev's still with Lana, and now he's tagging with Shinsuke Nakamura, which is a waste of Shinsuke Nakamura, and English hasn't been seen on SmackDown in months. So what was even the fucking point of breaking them up in the first place? We see a picture of them having a backstage segment with New Day, I think also around Christmas. Rusev was dressed up as Santa. Aiden English was a fucking snowman. I think Kofi was like a gingerbread man or something. And Kofi tried so hard not to corpse. They were just having so much fun with it. Everyone involved was trying not to laugh. And we see clips of the segment, and Rusev said it was just amazing. And then we see a picture of Rusev just giving his 2 thumbs up for a photo shoot. And he talked about being a babyface, essentially. How he was an evil foreigner for years, and that he'd always been a bad guy. But he knew that he had a personality that people would like, and he started showing it more and more, and that's how he became as over as he was as a babyface. Before WWE then fucked him over by turning him back heel earlier this year for no apparent reason. So that was it. This edition of WWE Photo Shoot, well worth checking out. I fucking love Rusev. The guy's hilarious. A lot of great stories here between the nose thing, the breaking of the nose, Rusev Day, the origins of that, the WrestleMania 31 tank entrance, the mixed match challenge outfits, his relationship with Lana, all that other stuff. Some great stories told here with the Bulgarian Brute, Rusev. So check it out now on the WWE Network. And thank you guys for checking out my review of the show. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll be back in the next few days reviewing whatever, likely from the network. I think this is going up on Sunday, so whatever airs on the network after Raw this week, we'll talk about here on the channel in the coming days. And also, too, as I mentioned in my review of Total Bellas from yesterday, the Season 4 finale, Ms. and Mrs. premieres, I believe, this Tuesday after SmackDown on the USA Network, so I'll likely watch and review that quickly and put it up next weekend at some point when I can find the time, because I'm leaving for WrestleMania weekend this Thursday. So hopefully I can watch and review that and put it up in the coming days. So with all that being said, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.